Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. I am so glad you're there. This is going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned. Also, stay tuned to the end because I'm going to give you some tips on how to acquire what we're looking at today on the show, which are hip pocket records. Definitely not the first or only video on YouTube about hip pocket records, but we're going to show them to you in a little bit of a unique way. I think you're going to have fun. Now, when you think of these hip pocket records, you may think, oh yeah, it's like those 3-inch records. No, these are 3-inch records. And by comparison, a hip pocket record is larger than that, as you can see right here. So let's talk briefly about why these exist and give some a listen. Plus, I'm going to share with you some very cool international records that you've probably never heard before. You're not going to want to miss this. Now, I really want to spend our time playing records and not deep diving on history, but I'm going to give you a very quick overview of why these exist. So let's start with this. It's the mid to late 60s, and you have albums of popular music, but the kids, when I say kids, I'm talking teenagers, preteens, they can't afford full-blown albums. So a market pops up for 45s. Now, this is a terrible specific example because most Beatles singles weren't on albums and vice versa. You got the past masters, which finally fixed that in the 80s. That's a separate story. I'm painting a broad brush stroke here, but you have expensive albums that the adults typically buy, and you've got 45s that the kids buy. So this product is sort of an evolution of the single, of the 45. And specifically what Ford/Philco thought would be a good idea was to introduce these little flexible records. So let's go ahead and this is an example of one, obviously. It's a larger, I think it's 4 1/4 inch. I'd have to measure it again, but it's bigger than 3 inches. But it's not as big. It's much smaller than like a 7-inch single, obviously. It's a flexible disc. It is double-sided though, unlike most Flexidiscs. And it's 45 RPM, just like this. Now keep in mind, I said that this was really meant to compete with this. Now, what would this offer that this couldn't? Well, it further compressed the size. You could fit it in your hand or in your pocket. Now, why is it bad to put a record in your pocket? Well, a record is rigid, right? It's going to break. You sit down on this, it's going to snap. And you don't want your copy of Lady Madonna to snap because that would just be wrong. However, if you were to sit on this, it's flexible and it wouldn't be as big of a disaster. And from a price standpoint, 69 cents. This was money that even kids could afford. Plus, you know how it always was. There was usually 1 or 2 good songs on the album. You didn't need the whole thing. Unless it was Rubber Soul, where every song truly is a good song. But anyway, that's a separate topic for a separate day. Yeah, I was trying to think how many singles that I own and I also own the album. And the first one that came to mind was my Bing Crosby White Christmas. Definitely wouldn't probably be what kids of the 60s would be going after. So I thought I would go with a more hip, no pun intended, reference. So that's why that's there. Anyway, so you've got these little things, and they thought to themselves, you know what? They're so small. You can not only put them in your hip pocket, and the double entendre, of course, is hip pocket. Is it a hip pocket record? Or you can see the dash there, hip pocket. Put it in your hip pocket, and it's a record. 45 RPM. And, you know, they got a lot of songs released on this. I don't know if it ever got to the point where, you know, it was, you know, truly competing with 45s on record sales. More of a novelty, more of a thing for kids. Very, very not dissimilar to pocket rockers, which also shares the word pocket in it, wherein kids could enjoy music, whatever was cool in the day, such as La Bamba, tequila, in a small, although I don't know if these were ever affordable. I always think of pocket rockers as being expensive, especially today. And in this case, not even full songs. I believe that these may have been partially truncated as well, but these are definitely truncated. So in addition to being music and just media that music is played on, these are also a fashion accessory. So you can not only trade them with your friends. Why would you trade your favorite tapes? That doesn't make any sense. And then you could wear them as fashion accessories, and they came in all these cool colors and all this stuff. Hip Pocket Records kind of pioneered that idea of records as functional and fashion accessories with the infamous hip pocket earrings and hip pocket vending machine, among others. These were cool. They were trendy. They were cheap, and they were targeted towards people with shallow pockets. While these can be played on hi-fi record players, manual ones. In fact, you'll notice on the back here it says for single play phonographs only, not for your record changer, which was a very popular item back then. In fact, mom and dad would probably have the changer, but you probably had a little plastic portable, something that was decidedly lo-fi. I was going to say low-fi, I don't know if that's a term, and fully manual. So these were really designed for that. This Core Sonic record player will really do the trick. And as soon as there we go. Okay. And this is a cool unit. I love that. We've had this on the show before, but it also is really good for playing these types of records. So we're going to do just that. So 45 RPM, lo-fi records. Actually, these can sound really good. Like I said, on a higher end phonograph. But let's go ahead and just spin this up. This is a pretty copyrighted song, so we're not going to be able to play a whole lot of it, but enough for you to get a little bit of an idea. I do have some stuff we can listen to in their entirety in just a second. So we've got this switch to 45, and here we go. You get the point. It does the trick. It does the trick. It gives that kid an opportunity to listen to popular songs of the day. And in theory, you can trade them, you can sit on them, you can collect them, and you can do that affordably. Don't forget, double-sided. Now, when you're playing Flexidiscs, as you may know, oftentimes, because they're so lightweight, you have to put something on top of it, like a coin or an adapter made by your favorite YouTube channel that's customized and available in a variety of limited edition colors. Or, in this case, this particular one is just, the hole is tight enough that it works. So here's the flip side. Okay, so all that's fine and good, and that makes sense. And we can wrap our brains around that. But why, tell me why, does this exist? Jack and the Beanstalk hip pocket record. No 12 to 17-year-old is going to be, hey, dude, did you get the latest Jack and the Beanstalk record? Yeah, it's on Hip Pocket Records. Check it out. Oh, and on the flip side, you've got Robin Hood. No. So why does this exist? I can't figure this out. There were only like 100 or so titles available of that, of, you know, popular music. Usually they were songs that were perhaps a year or two old, but still rather popular. And the lower cost of licensing is part of how they got down to 69 cents. But still, they were aiming to be popular, Hip Pocket Records. But this was definitely not hip for most people. Now, I personally think this is cool. I love kids stuff, as you know. It's the same idea. We've got a small flexi record, double-sided, Jack and the Beanstalk, Robin Hood, 45 RPM, Philco, Ford, and we'll go ahead and give it a listen. Might as well. I think we can play this one in its entirety for you. While we got this out, I wanted to use this opportunity to show off a couple of interesting records that we received from a very kind viewer. These are 2 Flexidiscs from Sweden. So they are Swedish language records, and they are single-sided. And the labels are embossed or stamped, which I think is really, really neat. Now, because the platter is smaller on this, I'm going to go ahead and put a larger record down just for support. And this seems to grab the spindle pretty tightly, so I don't think we'll need anything on there.
Jag 2 mil har man gångat för att komma hit i stan. I sol och rök och damm och blivit törstig utav bara fan. Men bara för man hänger vid din disk ett litet slag, så ska du inte tro att man har gått och blivit svag. Nej, bara för här står ett andra stort och i mitt glas, så ska du inte tro att det är så här som man ska tas. Och fasten...
You know, it sounds remarkably good, actually. That sounds pretty dang clear. Let's listen to a little bit of the other one as well. And here we go. That was English language. Okay, there you go. Also, this one was 33 and that one was actually 45. And while we're on the topic of Swedish records, it doesn't come up that often, so I figured we'd throw this in there too. Also, part of that same gift, I believe, we've got this very cool Swedish picture disc on paper, somewhat flexible, and it looks like it's been well played, so this probably won't be the highest fidelity. That one does need a little extra something on there, I feel like. So let's go ahead and spin this up. I assume it's 33, but here we go. Nope, 45.
Ja, det är ju påsk. Kuckelikus.
Jesus, jag har fått en tupp i halsen.
Ja, jag hör att du är galen. Har du något nytt?
Ska köpa en bil.
Oh, vilka märke?
Spelar ingen roll. Bara det ryms mycket flickor i den. Är min bäste vän sitter bak i bilen mellan sju.
For a second there, I thought it was just a conversation. That's really, really, really cool. We might have to play that in its entirety on the show one day. That is very, very cool. All right, I've got one more record to share with you, and it's in this little sleeve here. And I only grabbed it because it reminded me of the Hip Pocket record in size. It's similar. It's actually a little bit bigger than a Hip Pocket record. This is an old advertising disc. Be sure to play this record today. And it had a mailing label you can see that originally was right there. They would mail this straight to your house. Advance information on the Great American Value for 1932. Now this is a 78 RPM record, so I won't be able to play it on this 2-speed player. We're going to need to get another record player in here. I originally had bigger plans, but in the process of getting ready for this shot, I broke the stylus that I was planning on using. And I can't find my Bampa flip cartridge. I forgot what unit I put that on. So we're going to listen to it with a micro groove stylus on my Victrola Liberty. I know it's not ideal, but it's a super lo-fi record anyway, and you'll get the idea. So it's also warped, and that's why I put some weight on there just to stabilize it there so we can listen to it. So without further ado, here it is, the 1932 Chevrolet advertising record.
Chevrolet Motor Company will announce a great new car. We believe it is unquestionably the finest motor car this company has ever designed or built. Chevrolet's success has been due largely to the loyalty of its owners. Therefore, we are giving you this advance information so that you can arrange to be one of the first to experience the thrills of driving this new car. And when we say thrills, we mean just that. You will get the thrill of a smooth 60-horsepower 6-cylinder engine with a speed of 65 to 70 miles per hour. The thrill of driving the first and only low-priced car with both simplified freewheeling and the silent shift Central-Mace transmission. You will get the thrill of ultra-modern styling in smart new bodies by Fisher. And finally, the thrill of Chevrolet's greater comfort, durability, and economy at prices among the lowest at which motor cars are sold. So take advantage of this advance information to Chevrolet owners. And whether or not you intend to buy, arrange to drive this new car yourself and learn firsthand why Chevrolet is truly the great American value for 1932.
Well, you get the idea anyway. All right, my friends, and that is going to do it. Hey, I promised you that I was going to tell you some secrets on how to get Hip Pocket records, and I'm going to do just that right now. Now, the biggest, easiest way is probably eBay. You're not going to find these at a thrift store or an antique store or an antique mall that easily. You're probably going to need to look on eBay. But something you may not have thought about is go into Facebook Marketplace. Marketplace has turned out to be a very good place to find things like this. Also, there's another app called Mercari. Mercari, you can find some very, very cool things. It kind of works like eBay a little bit, but I will find stuff on Mercari that I won't find on eBay. And I don't even do Craigslist anymore. I don't know if anybody's doing that, but you're not going to find this kind of stuff on Craigslist. So I'd say Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, and eBay, of course, to find these. They're not like super money valuable, but they're a cool collectible. I like to have one or two in my collection, as I do. I'm never going to be like, I need to hear that Percy Faith song. Let me go grab my hip pocket record. You know what? I'm just not going to do that. So for me, it's no longer about the original use case. It's now about, it's a novelty. I kind of think it always was. Anyway, did you ever have a hip pocket record? Do you have a hip pocket record? Let me know down in the comments below. That is going to do it for today. Oh yeah, before I forget, you are cordially invited to join our membership program. Only $1 a month. Custom 45 adapters and other merch available as well. We might have a few surprises coming your way soon that I cannot wait to share with you. But for today, that's going to do it. So happy record hunting. We'll see you next time. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Today we're talking. Hey everybody, welcome back to Record. Why am I holding it already? Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. I'm never gonna be like, man, I gotta hear, when a man loves a woman. Or I'm never gonna be like, I need to hear that Percy Faith song. So happy record hunting. We'll see you next time. Testing 1, 2, 3.
You're watching Record-ology.